Hello, happy Wednesday. I've got a short but hopefully powerful and important and impactful episode for you today. And I really just wanted it to be this reminder for you, especially because I know it's a reminder that I need myself from time to time. And that is that trying harder is just not always the answer. In fact, sometimes it's going to be the thing that hurts you more than it helps you. And I feel like that is so the opposite of what so many of us have been brought up, conditioned, trained to believe, especially as successful women entrepreneurs. I am willing to bet if you have had any level of success in your business, it is because you have pushed, you have tried, you have busted your ass to make that happen. And so what I find happens is that when women, and again, this is me, this is, the clients that I've worked with, when we're trying to enter into that next level of our business, whatever that means, we're going into a bigger phase of success and it doesn't feel so much like of a starting point anymore. It becomes so difficult to really understand and recognize when it's safe to go from surviving to thriving, right? It's a situation where so many of us, we started our businesses, head down, hustled, got shit done. Like I didn't have time to think about so many things. I didn't have time to overthink. I had to make shit happen. I had bills to pay. And so I just did the things and made it work somehow. But I have found that as I have entered into, new levels of success, it's like the more money that I have, the more time freedom that I have, the bigger team that I have, it becomes this thing where there are so many more difficult decisions to make. All of the decisions feel like they have more weight to them. It's a situation where, I could burn it all down if I wanted to, or I could take today off if I wanted to, but should I? And it's kind of this really easy thing to, again, not recognize when it's okay and when it's safe to kind of like be a little bit kinder to yourself. And so the reason that I'm bringing this up today and the reason that it was coming up for me is, and this is, me being very transparent with you as I like to be, but I am in the process of launching Unapologetic Empire, the mastermind, which I am so excited about, so thrilled about. And when I put it out there initially, I kind of just gave a very simple sales page. I don't even want to call it a sales page because it wasn't really selling at all. It was just kind of like the details. Here's what it includes. Here's what it's all about. I put it up there and it was very straightforward. I don't think that that's a bad thing necessarily. But I also know myself well enough that I really want to feel behind an offer. And I was behind the offer, but I feel like I wanted to get even more behind it, even feel that much better about it. And so whatever, I rewrote the sales page and I edited it a bit and I feel great about it. But I was still having this moment where, what do I need to do? How do I need to prove myself? And I'm sharing this with you transparently because I've worked with so many high-level women, so many one-on-one clients, and women who are just absolutely positively crushing it. But it's not, in terms of launching, it's not my normal thing. I am more used to selling self-study programs or group programs that are very much like this lesson is this lesson is that. It's not as organic as a mastermind is. So I found myself in this mode of, I've got to try harder. What do I say? Again, what do I say to prove myself? And I just really caught myself seeing and feeling so clearly that I've been doing this all along. Right? The things that I say, the message that I have, the nonchalant energy with which I deliver so much of my content, that's what has created a successful business for me. I say things matter-of-factly because I own it and I know those things. And so just because I'm doing something slightly different, slightly uncomfortable, it doesn't mean I have to turn into a different version of myself. It doesn't mean that I have to try that much harder to get people to pay attention. Like what I know to be true and the reason why I'm sharing this with you is like, again, I've been doing this shit. People have been listening to me, higher level people who want to do masterminds. They've been listening to me all this time for years now. Again, it's not the thing that I've had the most evidence of because it's not the thing that I focus on selling the most, but I know that they're there. I know from experience they're there and I don't have to be anything else in order to get those people into my world, or they're probably in my world, but get them to actually want to sign up to work with me in a mastermind. I know that for sure. And it reminded me of, there's this episode that Nicole Moore did on her podcast, and it's so good. She does this thing where she talks about the single women archetypes, and the one is the totally single, total catch. And she talks about how, that woman will often find herself in this weird place because on one hand, she knows she is deserving of the best, she knows she deserves that treatment. She knows that that is what she wants, all of those kind of things. But there's still this part of her that doesn't have the complete belief and the complete faith. And so when she goes on those dates, when she meets those men, she winds up putting herself in this position where she's trying so hard that she like acts weird. She's not herself. And so she winds up being rejected. And at the same time, the people who don't exactly rise up to her standards, like the men who are not rising up to treat her the way that she wants, maybe they don't have the perfect careers, or it's not perfect career, but you know what I mean? Like they don't have the careers that are, at the place that she would want them. She winds up getting rejected, quote unquote, by them as well, because they essentially feel intimidated by her. They feel and they know that like, I'm not completely what this person wants. And so it's easier for me to reject her instead of having her ultimately reject me, because I know that's what's going to ultimately happen, because that's not what she ultimately wants. And so she's in this weird in-between phase. And so again, I'm bringing that example up to you that might resonate, especially if you're dating. But hopefully, again, I always say this, but I like to bring up dating examples, especially for those of you who are married or not dating, because I think it's an interesting and helpful thing to look at something where there's that context, where it's not such an emotional kind of lens, if you will. But again, so I'm bringing that up because it's very clear to see in that example, you might have these moments where you're in no man's land, if you will, and you're kind of like twisting yourself and you're changing yourself into what you believe you're supposed to be to get the thing that you want. But over and over again, we all learn that like we get the thing that we want when we are ourselves, when we don't try to be somebody else, when we don't try to abandon ourselves. And so again, I was sitting there with this mastermind, like, okay, I'm really going to sit down and I'm really going to get this messaging right. And I'm really going to make sure that I'm doing the best job possible. And it was actually a really refreshing thing for me to be like, no, like I don't have to try. Like I just have to be who I am. And actually me making this a bigger thing is not only going to make me miserable, but it's also going to have my messaging and my marketing miss the mark, because I'm being somebody different than I've always been all along. And so again, my job is to be myself and trust that the right people want to get in on that and be okay with whoever doesn't. And so again, I wanted to bring that up to you today because I know how this can feel at every stage of your business when you really want something. Maybe it's a situation where you're just trying to get sales. And so in your quest of trying to get sales, you're over trying essentially with your message. You're pushing, you're forcing, you're turning yourself into somebody you're not. You're overthinking everything. Or it could be a situation where maybe you have a massively successful business, but all of a sudden you want to be interviewed on podcasts or go to that next level, whatever that means for you. And then all of a sudden you're acting different. You're not being who you've been. You're not being the person who's created this first level of success. You're trying to be somebody else, the person that you think you need to be to get to that next level. And what I want you to know and understand is that that's not necessary. You did what you did, you created what you created, and you get to still be that person. You get to still say the same things. Of course, things are going to evolve, but you don't have to abandon the past version of you to get to the next version of you as much as you have to focus on being a better version, right? Turning it up a notch every single day, the ways in which you can. But it's not this out of body thing where it's like, I've got to leap to the next thing. I've got to try so hard. I've got to push. I've got to force. I want you to know that you get to have what you want, and it doesn't have to take this massive amount of effort or exerting yourself. It gets to be a little bit more natural. And so, I hope I'm making myself clear here that I'm not against, of course, hard work, getting the things done. That is always going to be required at every level of business. But the pushing beyond who you actually are is the thing that more of us have to reel in and to understand that actually is the thing that's getting us the opposite of what we want instead of helping us. And so I hope that was helpful. I have applications open for Unapologetic Empire, the mastermind, until Friday and Friday only. After that, I am closing the application process, selecting who I want to be in the mastermind. And, truly and sincerely, I'm really excited about this. And I'm excited about this because I'm not to toot my own horn here, although that's really my job as I pitch myself. I'm really proud of the way that I do business. I'm really proud of the way that I mentor and I coach my clients. I'm there for you. I'm in your corner. My intention is to be a strategic partner, to be a supportive cheerleader. I know you. I know your business. I know your patterns. And so you're going to have that. You're going to have me, but you're also going to have other women who are in it as well, trying to progress to that next level, supporting one another, reminding you of who the fuck you are when you forget from time to time. And I know that so many of you listening to this right now, you're craving that support. You're craving that, camaraderie, if you will, to as you navigate and up level, you want clarity. You want those moments of relief when you're feeling overstressed or like you're trying too hard. And my intention always is to give that to you. And again, I'm really proud of the way that I do that with my clients. I help you figure out where you want to go and then how we're going to get there. And I'm going to make sure you're getting there strategically and intentionally. And so that is the point of it all for me. And so sarah-dan.com to apply. I will obviously be in touch with you about 24 hours ish after you apply to let you know, we have to have a conversation or whatever it is. But again, I'll say it again. I'm really excited about this. I'm really looking forward to mentoring high-level women in this kind of container. And so I hope you are excited as well. And so yeah, I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, I would really, really, really appreciate it if you took the time to rate, review, and subscribe. It really helps the show a ton, and I would be super grateful.